Hey guys, Sean here. So I went to my local library earlier and I picked this up. Because I wanted to check it out, mainly, for the actors who were in it. Plus, by the trailers, I thought it was interesting. So I just literally got done watching it, and this is gonna be my review for it. So let's get to the preliminaries. So Victor Frankenstein is the 2015 American science fiction fantasy horror film based on the contemporary adaptations of Mary Shelley's 1818 novel Frankenstein. It's directed by Paul Micklin, I think, and written by Max Landis, starring James McAvoy as Victor Frankenstein and Daniel Radcliffe as Igor. The film was released by 20th Century Fox on November 25th, 2015. Told from Igor's perspective, it shows the troubled young assistant's dark origins and his redemptive friendship with the young medical student Victor Frankenstein. Through Igor's eyes, the audience witnesses the emergence of Frankenstein as the man from the legend we know today. Eventually, their experiments get them into trouble with the authorities, and Dr. Frankenstein and Igor become fugitives as they complete their goals to use science as a way to create life from death. So, this movie stars James McAvoy, Daniel Radcliffe, Jessica Brown, Findlay, I think. Sorry if I mispronounced that name. Andrew Scott and Charles Dance, who has a minor role in this movie. So the movie was an hour and 50 minutes. The budget was $40 million and only made back $34.2 million, which makes it a box office bomb, sadly. So what did I think of this movie? I surprisingly enjoyed it. I thought it was, I surprisingly enjoyed it. I thought it was a good movie. Is it perfect? No, far from. But compared to the other two Frankenstein movies I've seen in my life, which was I, Frankenstein with Aaron Eckhart and Mary Shelley's Frankenstein starring Robert De Niro and Kenneth Branagh, I'd probably say this one's the best. This one's the best of the three that I've seen. Because I really didn't care for those two other movies. Especially I, Frankenstein. I thought that was completely boring. And Mary Shelley's Frankenstein, aside from the actors, pretty much the same. Like, aside from Kenneth Branagh, I think Helena Bonham Carter was in that one too. And Robert De Niro as the monster Frankenstein. That movie's completely boring, aside from the actors. But this one I had fun with. I thought it was a good movie. I like both McAvoy and Radcliffe in this movie. I thought they were pretty good. Basically what happens in this movie is that McAvoy plays younger version, or sort of a younger version or whatever, of Victor Frankenstein, and he discovers Igor at the circus, as an unnamed hunchback, which apparently doesn't really have a hump. It's just fluids they injected into him to make it look like he has a hump, which is really weird. Okay. And then they form this relationship, and then they start trying to find a way to bring life from death, sort of. And then you have Andrew Scott in here, who's an actor I never really cared for, who plays Moriarty on Sherlock, or did play Moriarty on Sherlock, and then he was, they call C in Spectre. I really don't care for this actor at all. I think he's completely one note. Like, his voice is just the same voice and everything, and I know it's probably the way he speaks, but I just don't really care for that. I just don't really care for Andrew Scott. I think he's a bad actor in everything he's in, but just my opinion. But yeah, I quite enjoy this movie. I think it's a lot of fun. Is it one that I'd probably buy on Blu-ray? Probably not. I mean, it's not perfect by any stretch of the imagination, but I at least found some enjoyment in it, because it's essentially a new take on the Frankenstein mythos, if you will. Because we're actually seeing this from Igor's point of view, which I don't think Igor was ever in either of the other two movies that I saw. Because I know he wasn't in I, Frankenstein, because that movie was sort of like was sort of a sequel to the book, sort of, because they do summarize the book, the plot of the book in like the first few minutes, and then it's basically Frankenstein in modern day, hunting demons or whatever. But yeah, and then with Mary Shelley Frankenstein, I don't think he was in that one either. If he was, he must have had a small role, but I don't remember. Of course, then again, I haven't seen Mary Shelley Frankenstein since I was in school, which is a long time ago. But yeah, I had fun with the movie. I really liked it. I thought, like I said, I thought Radcliffe and McAvoy played well off each other. Charles Dance does have a limited role as Victor's father, who basically is doubting Victor's scientific experiments and whatnot. And also, they do kind of give a reason for why Victor's trying to bring life from death, if you will, because he, I guess, killed his brother or let him die or whatever, and he's trying to redeem himself by trying to resurrect his brother because he feels bad for his brother's death, which I don't remember if they said was his fault or not, but he's trying to redeem himself and make up for the sins of the past by trying to resurrect his brother. So I kind of thought that was an interesting story arc or plot point that they were putting in here, because it does kind of give a reason for him wanting to make this monster. Because in the other movies, or even in the lore, I don't think they really give a reason for Victor wanting to create the monster, other than he's just smart and wants to push the envelope of science. But I like that they tried to give him like a personal story, like a personal reason wanting to create this monster. I thought that was really interesting, and I feel so bad that this movie bombed at the box office. That sucks, man. I mean, I understand why not a lot of people liked this movie, but I at least thought it was enjoyable. Okay? Like I said, it's far from perfect. It's probably not one I'll ever buy on Blu-ray or anything, but I at least found it enjoyable. Okay? So that's my review of Victor Frankenstein. Catch you guys next time.